It is the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, and let's talk Eyre Peninsula netball now with the Queen of EP Netball. She's back again. Jo Franklin, how are you?
I'm doing really well, Jason. You?
Going okay. Another big week it was. Good to see some netball back on the court, first of all. Albeit in Great Flinders, it was a reduced round.
Yeah, it was. 3 teams had buys, which is, very stop-start, and a long break for those who had the buys. But just everybody's just happy to be back and at it. So it went off quite well. I actually went up and watched one of the games. Went up and watched the Cougars Ramblers game because we had played Friday night. So
Yes.
It gave me a chance to go and watch Benny play a bit of footy and my daughter-in-law play a little bit of netty. So it was a really interesting game. It was tough and it was quite high intensity. The scores reflected the fact that Ramblers made a lot of errors through the mid-court, just young against experience. And, they threw a bit of ball away. But, in the end, Cougars won 54-41. Ramblers probably quite happy to have scored 41, but were not happy about the difference getting out to as much as what it did. Look, the youngsters for Cougars in defence, young Molly Burns and Holly Gale, have really stepped up. I was really impressed with their work rate and their ability to be able to intercept balls early against Keely Mason and Matilda Creddy, who are both extremely tall players. So it was it was good to see the young kids stand up there. But Abby Burrows and Kira Simons, they battled really hard in defence for Ramblers. But Hannah Green and Ella Wedd, their accuracy was just on song. They shot really well, so there wasn't a lot of opportunity there for any defensive rebounds. But really and truly, if Cougars actually don't win the grand final this year, it will amaze me. And I don't know how they're going to self-destruct because their centre court is just so strong. Mind you, having said that, if we go to the next game with Elliston,
here's your challenger.
Yep.
Here's your
they
challenger.
are coming. Yeah, they are coming. Ellison Districts, look, they're building, they're coming, and their centre court is probably the one that will be able to match the Cougar centre court. Look, they're certainly building, and look, unfortunately for the United Joanna Eagles girls, look, it was just such a tough day at the office for them. They only ended up scoring 21 goals. Elliston Districts ended up scoring 67. Look, Nikki Schubert in defence, her strength and her skill really intimidated the young Eagles goalies, unfortunately, which should have told on the scoreboard for them. Look, Nick is having a great season, and I think I said to you last week that I wouldn't mind betting that she's a bit of a dark horse for the medal up there. Courtney Harling goals was really good for them. Charlie Manane, as usual, through the centre court was really good, but Kate was just happy with the fact that it was such a great team effort and everybody pulled together, and they were able to come away with that big win. And watch out because they are coming.
They are indeed, and if there's any side that can match Cummins Kipini Cougars for finals and grand final experience, it's Elliston Districts, given that those two netball clubs, Elliston and Western Districts, played against each other for like the last 4.
Exactly. So, that will be very interesting. Look, and you never count Ramblers out. You never count Tumby Bay out either. But, watching on Saturday, I just think that Cougars this year they're on a bit of a mission, I think.
Well, let's have a look at their mission continues this weekend against the finals-bound Tumby Bay. It's at Kipini, and Cougars will start favourites here. It'll be interesting to see how close Tumby Bay can get and whether or not they can pinch one away from the undefeated Cougars.
Yes, it will be very interesting, and I reckon that one of the matchups for the day will absolutely be the Stady Curtis Ella Wedd matchup. These two just love standing each other. They're both hard at it. Neither of them wanted to give in, and both of them love to win. So one of them's not going to. But I think it'll be an absolute highlight. It always is a highlight when those two match up. And look, Tumby. And another thing that I think is going to be very interesting in this game, Jace, is that you've got 4 of the young guns of the A grade competition, standing each other with young Molly Burns and Holly Gale for Cougars up against Sarah Laurie and Alex Strafford in the goals for Tumby, who on their day can shoot the lights out and have done so. So that will be a really interesting matchup for mine. But I think, again, Cougar Centre Court will be where they really dominate and will run away with the game.
Yep. Okay, we move to the Eyre United Ramblers game. Now, the way that the ladder sits at the moment and the way things are working out with Elliston Districts having the bye this week and then them playing each other, Ramblers have to win this and win this by plenty to get pretty close on percentage, right?
Yeah, they do, and they know that. They certainly know that, and they are making sure that they try and eliminate some of the basic errors that they made last week, make sure that they tie those up and make sure that they come away with a pretty big win, because they know that that percentage is what is going to really count in a couple of weeks' time. So moving into the finals or the placings on the premiership ladder. So Hughes has a full team. They worked really hard, I believe, at training last night to try and make sure that they minimise their error rate this week. Look, the Saints girls, they'll work hard. They're young. They've got plenty to learn. They've improved as the season's gone along. But I think that the Maggies are building towards the finals, and they know what finals are all about, and they will be out for a bit of blood on tomorrow, I have no doubt.
And the final match of the round, the United Yolanda Eagles hosting Lock at the Couplex. Lock, well, it's a pretty simple equation for them. They need results to go their way, and they have to win their last two, and they have to win them by plenty.
Yeah, they do. They do. Now, it's probably not a bad start for them in this game. Whilst United Yolanda, they have probably improved since Lock played them last, but look, it should be a competitive game, I think, actually. They're probably pretty evenly matched. Locker without Jazz Pearce in defence, which will certainly hurt them, because her and Sarah Skinner have been playing really well back in there. But the advantage that Tara's got is that she can put either Tanya Havner or Eliza Graham back in there with Sarah, and that probably is going to help them a little bit there. They've got that little bit of depth, I guess, over the Atlanta girls. But and Millie Morton is back. She's at full fitness, and she's going to be they're looking forward to having her for a full game, should I say. Put her in with Sarah Hurrell through the centre court. Christy Zirk and Ellen Reid are going to be in goals. And they're pretty... There's a young Georgia Kay. They're going to sit her on their bench. She's coming up from the 15s. She evidently played really well. They had a trial game against Central Eyre United during their bye week, and so they're really looking forward to that. And young Georgia played really well in that, so they're rewarding her with a little spot on their bench. And you never know, she might get out there and get to have her first crack at A grade. But look, the young Yolanda girls, they try hard. I teach some of them, and they're still holding their heads up, and they know that they've got a lot to learn. They know that it's a long road ahead, but they haven't given up, and they keep working at it, and they'll certainly give it a real crack. But with what Lock are putting out there on Saturday, I think that they will come away with a win, especially knowing the fact that on the end of it there could possibly be a finals spot, and if they lose, there definitely will not be.
Yep. All right, we move to Eastern Eyre netball, and last weekend's... Oh, sorry, you got something else there for me?
Sorry, no, just really, really quickly. It's the famous Kaku Carnival on Sunday out at Kaku. So if anybody wants to go and have a look at some of the up-and-coming juniors, footballers and netballers, get out to Kaku on Sunday. The 13 and under netball, and I'm thinking that the footy is the same age or around 14 or whatever, but the netball is definitely 13 and unders, and so they are really they do a great job every year. Yolanda do of hosting it, and I know we have a Waybacks team going, and they always enjoy it every year. So good luck to them with their junior carnival. And like I said, if you've got nothing else to do and you want to go for a little drive out to Yolanda, do a little bit of crop inspecting along the way, get on out there.
All right, you can do that while you're heading up to Eastern Eyre netball on the Saturday as well.
Can, absolutely.
A bit to check out at the moment, including some results from last week. That's where we will start in the A grade matches there. Cal, they officially booked their final spot, if it wasn't already officially booked, in a very tight game in the end over my Ports girls. Almost got the job done, but not quite. Cal 42, Ports 37.
And Ports almost did get the job done, Jace. We were almost on even keel. However, it was a bit of a messy game by all accounts. And Cal were lucky to hold on because the Ports defence line really held tough against Emily Wycamp and put a whole heap of pressure on the Cal attack line, and they really struggled in attack. Ports did a really, really good job, and they very nearly did pull off a win. Ellie Burton for Cal, she actually was the one who held Cal in. She turned over plenty of ball, probably more ball than what she really needed to. Cal, she was playing a wing defence and goal defence, and she was Cal's best for the day. And look, Ports just worked so hard. It's just unfortunate for them that this week we'll see their last game for 2021 because they probably just started to put it together, and you can only but hope that they can keep some of those girls together and build on for next year. But certainly a good team effort by Ports. Cal are wanting to. They have the bye this week, so unfortunately they're not going to be able to build as far as match play goes, but they certainly know that they're going to have to play a lot better than what they did to get anywhere in the finals.
Not a great feeling having the bye when you're not going to play finals in the last round, but never mind. Well done. Good season to the Ports girls. Even though it was winless, they've certainly improved towards the end of it. The other match in the A-grade competition from last week, this was relatively tight for periods as well. Kimber Districts were too good in the end, but Central Eyre United gave a pretty good account of themselves, 56-42 the final score.
They certainly did, and they are pretty happy to have scored 42 goals against Kimber, especially against that Kimber defensive unit. It's pretty tough. Charlie and those girls, they're tough. So they were pretty happy to get their 42 goals. They were just a little bit disappointed that in the end it blew out to 14 goals because they would have hoped to have kept it a little bit less than that heading into finals. However, they were very pleased. It was a really good effort for them. And Kimber would certainly be wanting to build on that coming up to their game this week and coming up to finals. There's no doubt about that. So it's going to be quite interesting because Central Eyre have certainly they've had a practice game during their bye, and they're really working towards the fact that they want to be accountable in the finals.
Well, they've got one more game to go before they have to worry about that, and it's a fairly interesting sort of test too. The Central Eyre United crew, who have they got this week?
Yeah, they've got Ports this week, so they will want to really push out in this game. They will really be wanting to make sure that they get their combinations right. They'll be wanting to make sure that they really push well away and are probably looking at a bit of a percentage boost as well against Ports. Look, unfortunately for Ports, this will be their final game for 2021 and it has been a tough year for them. They've never really had the same seven out on court. They have struggled to get everybody to trainings and, stop-start is never easy for anybody to get into consistency at any rate. But look, Central Eyre, like I said, they are going to really want to push out in this because it is the game before the finals, and they want to stamp a little bit of authority, I would think. So this will be their chance, and I think that they will definitely do that.
Mm-hmm. Tend to agree. The other match, though, at Cleve is where everyone will be focused because the Eastern Rangers and Kimber Districts go in pretty evenly poised into another final series. I think if you were if you were doing the premiership odds at the moment, you might have Kimber Districts just shading Eastern Rangers at the moment, but I don't think there's much in it.
No, there's not. In fact, there's only 1 point, I believe, on the premiership table. So this game, somebody's going to want to take the ascendancy into the finals, as you know, Jace, like you always just like to get that win heading into the finals, and they will play each other again in a couple of weeks. So, they're going to be working really hard. And look, I think Rangers have actually now settled. They had a loss with losing Amy, and young Tamika Wren. So they really did have to rebuild and rethink about what they were doing, and they have certainly done that now. And I think that their goalie combination, the two sisters, in Lauren Symes and Nicole Symes, have so tall, and I'm guessing that's why Curl went that way, because for any defence line to have to come up against that is going to be tough, and it's going to be a full four-quarter effort. So, look, I actually, it's in Cleve, and I'm actually thinking maybe a little bit of an upset here. I'm thinking maybe Eastern Rangers might just put their foot down here and say, right, we are in this final. We're going to win this game, and we're heading into the final series, and we're going to show you that that we are around the mark, and we want to go. I don't know. Will it be back to back or three in a row, Jace? I'm not sure actually for the Rangers girl.
I think it's back to back, and in that way, you make it three in a row, given that they missed a year. So maybe true. It's both.
Right, yeah, it could be. But look, honestly, Kimber, there's no way that Kimber will lay down either. Megan is a very astute coach, and she will have these girls revved up. There's no question, because they will be wanting to knock off the Rangers girls, and any side that's got Jess Clements in goals is going to be shooting at a very high accuracy rate. So, yeah, it will be very interesting, and a game that you would want to get along to have a look at, I reckon.
I think so as well. Should be an interesting round of matches across the EP. EP netball continues on. Anything else, Joe?
I think that's about it. We're all associations are one down. Port Lincoln have another round of Friday night games, so we'll be heading out there in a little bit and having a look at the A1s are playing tonight. So if there's anybody, fighting around Lincoln who wants to see a couple of decent games of netball, Wanilla and Wayback, so 1 versus 2, and Boston's and Imperials. I throw it 3 and 4, but very tight competition down here in the A grade this year, Jace. And some good games if anybody wants to pop along and have a look tonight.
Excellent. Good luck. And Joe, we will catch up with you again next week.
We certainly will.